Hey guys, how you going? Okay guys, before I start tonight, I would like to thank Michael. Thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate that. And everyone all my PayPals and all my Patreons, I do appreciate you guys and all that listen and watch. And share and comment and like, and all of those who don't say anything at all. Anyway guys, wow, what a day. I have been out since 9:30 this morning and got back at 4:30 this afternoon. And I'm buggered. I went for a 2-hour trip to see my mum and dad. So, and then on the way back, I stopped at my daughter's and picked up my mail and realised my car is due for registration in 2 days. Oh dear God. I think I'm not going to have a car for a while. Oh no. I thought I had 3 days, but now I realised I've only got 2 days. Oh, okay. Anyway. Okay, let's just get on with this and hope for the best. Oh dear. Port Arthur Massacre. Zaria Chamberlain. Disappearance of William Tyrrell. Highest rates of sexual abuse of children in the world. National capital designed in the shape of the Eye of Providence. Mass Clinton donations, creeping globalism. It's been here all along, hasn't it? It has. It really has. And that's from First State 88, our Celebrating Oz. And now from Dr. Russell McGregor at Kill AU Deep State. From the boards, make of it what you will. Tax theory. Because the man and the board allowed, if not were behind the anonymous sources to create the story in the New York Times, this gives liberals fuel to attack the tax system. And also likely it will bring privacy issues to the spotlight, allowing rulings that financial records are utmost private and unless conducted illegally must stay private. So the left will claim illegal activity. Then the case goes to the Supreme Court. Yep, right up to Amy and the team. Except Sotomayor and Roberts must recuse themselves from any case concerning the president election, also because of expressing personal hatred publicly towards him. Perfect storm, bitches. Goodbye, IRS. So make of that what you will, but that sounds very interesting. And from Chuk Chuk at Parler, Chuk Chuk Parler at Chuk 1, Parler Chuk 1. At Chuk Lisa, there you go. It's just a long name there, so there you go. All socialist dictators are eventually hoist on their own petard. Stuff you, Daniel Andrews. Okay, so what I had to do with this, because when I opened it, it went very tiny. So I have saved it so that I could enlarge it this time. And this would be from Craig Kelly. All socialist dictators are eventually hoist on their own petard. Are we seeing history repeating? For throughout history, all socialist dictators are eventually hoist on their own petard, and it looks like the same thing will happen with the Victorian dictator. 3 months ago, I wrote about how Andrews and his henchmen would face prosecution under Victoria's industrial manslaughter laws for their bungling mismanagement of the COVID situation. The very same laws brought in by Andrews and his extreme left-wing government to supposedly go after capitalist bosses. And those very same laws could now possibly see Andrews and members of his Politburo arrested and charged. Here's Robert Gottliebson further detailing the case, and that's in the Australian, which you have to pay to see, so I can't do that. And there's no link there anyway, because this is a picture. The Victorian politicians and public servants caught in the hotel quarantine saga do not have amnesia, but rather have a genuine fear that any admission of liability will cause them to be prosecuted under Victorian law. If found guilty, they face a potential jail sentence of up to 25 years and/or a fine of $16.5 million. Never before in Australian history have so many cabinet members and senior public servants faced such a danger, so it's no surprise they all keep saying, "I don't know." The weekend resignation of former Health Minister Jenny Mikakos included a statement that she strongly disagreed with the Premier's evidence. She has not admitted accountability. Some of those involved in the quarantine fiasco were actually part of the plotting that designed one of the most vicious industrial manslaughter acts in the Western world. The legislation aimed to jail corporate boards for long periods if there was a death in their workplace, or it could be linked to actions that took place in their workplace, irrespective of their responsibility or control. The legislation was passed in November last year, and its wide powers and severe penalties have not been tested. But the Victorian public servants and politicians know its power intimately and have every reason to be scared because they are set to be the test case. And public servants and politicians around Australia are suddenly alarmed at what appears set to happen in Victoria, so are checking their own vulnerability. First to react are the West Australian government politicians and public servants who are planning Victorian-style industrial manslaughter laws to jail boards and executives. Suddenly the Western Australian politicians and public servants realise they could be jailing themselves, so they have moved to exclude government actions from the proposed law's ambit. It makes what the Western Australian government is looking to do a national joke. The general view in the Victorian community is that the senior politicians and public servants will never be prosecuted despite what legislation might say. Their mates will look after them. In theory, that might seem right, but the legislation is clear, and the high calibre of the people who will make the decisions means that the vulnerable public servants and politicians are right to warn their families of what might be ahead. Jenny Mikakos has resigned from her role as Victorian Health Minister after Premier Daniel Andrews named her as the person responsible for the state's hotel quarantine program. I must emphasise that it is one thing for a public servant or politician to be prosecuted and another to be convicted. It's important for all Australians, and certainly Victorians, to understand just how the Victorian occupation and health manslaughter system works. When Steve Bracks was Victorian Premier, he passed some of the best occupational health and safety rules in the country. The first part of the Bracks OHS legislation was that he made it easier for ordinary people to alert the head of WorkSafe Victoria and the Director of Public Prosecution that an OHS offence may have taken place. And once such notification is made to the WorkSafe chief, he must either prosecute or publicly give good reasons for not prosecuting. If the WorkSafe chief rejects prosecution, the case can be submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions, who again must either proceed with prosecution or publicly explain why. Did I just say that? The head of WorkSafe Victoria is Colin Radford, and the Director of Public Prosecutions is Kerry Judd. Clearly they must assess the situation, but given the enormous amount of damning evidence uncovered in the Jennifer Coate inquiry, for Radford and Judd not to launch prosecutions is almost inconceivable. Under the OHS Act, it is the responsibility of the public servants and politicians to provide a safe workplace not just for those in the workplace, but for others who might be impacted by what happens in that workplace. Hundreds of people died as a result of the events in the hotel workplace. This is almost certainly the nation's biggest OHS catastrophe. My mouth's not working today. I should emphasise a prosecution does not mean that the person charged is guilty, but an OH offence is a criminal offence. But to be convicted under Bracks OH&S, it must be shown that the person had some form of control and or responsibility for what happened. For the recently passed industrial manslaughter laws to be triggered, there must first be a conviction under the OHS Act. The actual OHS Act is fair and allocates blame on the basis of control and responsibility. Accordingly, if you are a director of a company that, say, operates a farm, and you've made sure that all equipment was properly maintained, the staff were properly trained, and the right safety rules were set in place, then if a staff member behaves badly causing a death or serious injury, board members would not be liable under OHS. But under the Industrial Manslaughter Act, the board members who acted properly are still likely to face long jail sentences. The WorkSafe chief, Colin Redford, has rightly launched an inquiry into the quarantine affair. In normal circumstances, his inquiry would be the only one undertaken apart from the coroner, but in this case, a separate public inquiry has taken place and a vast amount of evidence has been publicly assembled, so there is no way there can be a cover-up. I'm telling you, my mouth's really not working today. Part of the problem facing Victorian ministers and public servants is that under Daniel Andrews, the Victorian Public Service Administration was vastly increased in size and sets of complex, interrelated responsibility networks were set up to cover many issues. All around the state, in areas outside of those raised by this virus, people dealing with the Victorian government find it incredibly difficult because responsibility is divided into so many departments and committees. Very often only the Premier can sort through the morass. When this system was applied to a crisis, instead of responsibility being concentrated, it was spread over a large number of people, which greatly widens responsibility. Firstly under the base OHS Act, then under the Industrial Manslaughter Additions. Those who have studied the Victorian situation believe the only way widespread prosecutions can be avoided is for Redford and Judd to give reasons for non-prosecutions that will create precedents that destroy both the industrial manslaughter and the OHS rules. The government and public servants have been trapped by their own actions, and that is why they are so scared. You could see the fear in their eyes when they gave evidence to the Coate inquiry. And last but not least, this little looks like a meme. All socialist dictators are eventually hoist on their own petard. Hotel quarantine inquiry. Victorian politicians caught in their own trap. Victorian hotel quarantine scheme is responsible for 768 deaths, says council assisting inquiry. The Victorian politicians and public servants caught in the hotel quarantine saga do not have an amnesia, but rather a genuine fear that any admission of liability will cause them to be prosecuted under Victorian law. And we read that. So there you go. Okay, and finally this, I'm going to leave it at this for tonight because I'm starting to get a headache again. I've just had a really busy day and now I'm a little tiny bit stressed over my car, but that's okay. I can deal with that. A lot of people were asking about this one. God wins at Trust the Plan, okay? These are hidden in plain sight all over Australia. Air vents to tunnels. It has the Freemason symbol on the plate. I know you've told me exactly what to do to enlarge the picture, and you know what? I forgot. Because when I try and zoom in, it won't zoom in. No. Okay, hang on. I'm going to have to save this one too, guys. I zoomed right in on that one. I wanted to see every detail of this thing, so let's have a look at it. It looks like a letter. Oh, there we go. New World. What? New World. See if I can. Is it clearer if I make it smaller? No. No, it makes it blurrier if I go bigger. It says New World something. If you got good eyes, I can't see it. Oh my goodness. Is it just my eyes? Okay. I'd like to go and have a close-up look at this thing. What's all this all over it? Wow. Okay, where's the other one? It's over here. Okay, sorry about all the click. Oh, here we go. They might be able to see it better here. Oh, here we go. Good on them. New World Infrastructure Commission. Australia's Project West, initiated 1829. So that's how long these bastards have been at it. Location designed by Dr. Alexander Colley, Captain Louis DiFrancini, maybe? Leslie, I don't know. Sir James Sterling, I think. Sir, can't read it. Pierre someone. Okay, let's try and enlarge it a little bit again. Just as these halls, oh, my eyes are so bad, unless it's just getting blurry when I zoom in. Just as these halls watch over, no, something watch over the world. Oh no, I really need to know what this says now. Oh. If anyone can read that, can you please comment what it says? I cannot see it. I'm blind as a bat. I need like a massive TV or something, a massive screen to put this thing on. So if you can read that, can you please let me know what this bit says? And any bits that I missed, if you like. Because I would appreciate that. Oh, this is, yeah, so a lot of people are thinking these are like markers to where tunnels may be. And they could be. They very well could be. Wow. And it's close to the ocean. I wonder where that is. And is there any more underneath that? No. That one's at Denver Airport in Colorado. So look, we've got the same thing here in Australia, guys. We've got the weird paintings all over Ballarat. And we've got these things all over Australia. And they were put there in the 1800s. Oh my goodness. Oh, and this is so heartbreaking. I'm not going to play it. But this is what happens when you lock down retirement, what do you call them, old people's homes. She's looking at a computer screen to see her family. And you can tell. This made me cry today, guys. I can't play it. But I will put the link down below. Because it was just so sad. We should never, ever, ever, ever treat the elderly like this. This is not fair. My heart goes out to her. And I'm going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Strong. She just wants to see a family. Why are people denying this? Look what this thing's caused. The poor woman. She's not happy. I'll put the link down below. I can't watch any more, guys. I watched it earlier today and I burst out crying. And I don't cry easy. But when my heart goes out to somebody else, I can cry for other people more than I can cry for myself. Wow. Okay. And this here, I'm going to put the link down below. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but from Dano, it's Narkish Dano. Anyone bored? Needs some digging material? I'm off on other tangents, plus that kind of document will have me napping quicker than a couple of drinks, the afternoon sun, and my favourite chair. So breaking a large cache of confidential foreign documents have just been leaked implicating Joe Biden, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and Joseph Misfud's collusion and possible criminal activity in Ukraine. I think we're going to have to download that. How many pages are there? Yeah, because I can't read that from here. Okay, guys, I'm not going to read all of that. But I will put the link down below for you guys, so if you want to read it, you can. And I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I've just had a very busy day, and I'm tired, and now I've got to go work out how I'm going to register my car. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good one, and stay safe and stay calm, and I'm calm even with all that's going on. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good one. A good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys. Bye.